ओमज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदां सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So we welcome all the devotees for this ongoing session. Every evening we are discussing the theme re-emerging from the pandemic, how we can enthuse our life, our Krishna consciousness back into the solid practice of Krishna consciousness. We were discussing so far about different subject matters and different examples of the same subject matter of how different personalities, spiritual personalities, Supreme Personality of Godhead and His devotees, how they spent their time when they were quarantined, the transcendental quarantine they underwent. We had picked up the topic of Ramayana, where Sita Devi was quarantined in Ashokvatika. Yesterday we spoke about how Pandavas were quarantined in Virat's kingdom and the Leelas, the pastimes around that subject matter. Today we'll pick up a very important theme. Before that, I would like to also mention a very important point of a connecting story which I could not tell yesterday about the Pandavas. So many times people in the outside world, they ask, you are speaking something which is so old, 5,000-year-old stories. How it's going to relate to our life? We are in the 21st century now. We are in a modern era. So we find that this is not like this is a very old story which has no relevance. The story of the Pandavas, the story of Lord Shri Krishna's Leela in this material world, and also other different incarnations of the Lord, they are all still relevant. Like Srila Prabhupada has written so many books connecting the old history, the itihas, the pastimes, how the modern world can connect to that and learn lessons from. Srila Prabhupada will often translate books late into the night. Today morning we heard from Agnidev Prabhu how Srila Prabhupada was always excelling in translating, and the whole team, the BBT team, would always fall very far away. They would not be able to compete with Srila Prabhupada. So Srila Prabhupada, whole night he would be translating his books. And one time the devotee would type Srila Prabhupada's dictaphone messages. Prabhupada would speak in a dictaphone, right? So this devotee came to the Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, for last 3-4 days, I don't see much count on the dictaphone. You are not doing much translation, Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada said, I know that. And Srila Prabhupada said, your work is very simple, mechanical work. Just hear and type. My work is not mechanical. I have to think a lot of what to present in this book, so for the next 10,000 years, people can understand these books and connect with Srimad Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita. Srila Prabhupada indeed gave a lot of time, energy for his books. Srila Prabhupada was once asked one reporter asked Srila Prabhupada, Swamiji, who will be your successor after you leave? After you die? Prabhupada said, I will never die. And the reporter was shocked. She didn't understand that point. Swami, what are you saying? You will never die. Prabhupada said, yes, I will never die. I will always live through my books. So Prabhupada gave his whole energy, his whole life into these books. So Prabhupada has translated so many books, right? One book Srila Prabhupada has given us is Teachings of Queen Kunti. And that is, Srila Prabhupada gave a series of lectures on Kunti Devi's prayers at ISKCON Juhu Temple in Mumbai. And that became a book. After Prabhupada gave the whole series, then Prabhupada said, translate this into a book. So they compiled the whole lectures and made a book called Teachings of Queen Kunti. Now I'll see the relevance of this story, of this book. Just one book I'm taking now, Teachings of Queen Kunti. Somewhere in Spain, Barcelona, one book distributor was distributing books of Srila Prabhupada on a busy street. So people were walking, it was in the main city center. It's a very crowded place, people just were running this way, that way. And he was standing there trying to catch someone and give books. So, this book distributor's eye fell on a lady whom he noticed would go every day in the morning this way and come in the evening this way. Maybe she was working somewhere nearby. So this devotee thought, let me stop her and give her a book. Something inspired from his heart, he pulled out the book of Teachings of Queen Kunti and gave that lady this book. The lady was walking very fast. She said, Madam, please take this book. I said, I am not interested. Madam, this is Queen Kunti's book. I said, I am not interested. She went away. I don't want this book. No problem. The devotees doing book distribution, they know, they don't get disheartened by such failures. To his surprise, the next day when he was distributing books, this very lady comes there and she looks for him and says, hey, give me the book Teachings of Queen Kunti. So this devotee is a little bit surprised because first of all, this is a Spanish lady. How could she knew the book name, Teachings of Queen Kunti? Because when the lady was walking the other day, he just happened to just show the book and she was so busy, she said, no, I don't want. And the devotee must have mentioned Kunti's book like that, you know. But to remember Teachings of Queen Kunti book, the name. So he said, yes, you have the book, take the book. By the way, how do you remember the name of this book? It's a very difficult name, Queen Kunti, Teachings of Queen Kunti. And this lady said, yesterday night this Kunti came in my dream. And she told me, why did you refuse my book? Go and buy my book and read it. So I come to buy this Kunti's book. And this is a fact. Of all places we sometimes think, it's not relevant, 5,000 years old story. Kunti Maharani is preaching to Prabhupada books, her own book, buy this book of Prabhupada, So this is Krishna consciousness is very relevant even now. Some 12 years back in Mayapur, Gaur Purnima festival, huge crowd, devotees. One time we went to Radhanath Maharaj and said, Maharaj, during Kartik, so much crowd comes. I said, you are calling devotees as crowd? Then I realized, sometimes we may use the word crowd, too much crowd came for Rath Yatra, so much public came for Rath Yatra. Oh, they are not public, they are devotees. So, big amount of devotees had come for Gaur Purnima festival. All of them were Bengali devotees. And it was very difficult to manage when a huge group of Bengali devotees come from all over Bengal. So big stage program, Jayapataka Maharaj also was there on the program stage, Bhakti Purushottam Maharaj also was there. You're trying to give a class, but the audience was so much talking and discussing, huge sound, no one was able to hear any lecture. So finally Bhakti Purushottam Maharaj began a video show on the screen. So as soon as the video show began, everyone kept quiet and they were watching the film. And that film was Golden Avatar, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's film. Old Hare Krishna, ISKCON TV, ITV film, Golden Avatar. So for next 1 hour, everyone was very quiet. The Golden Avatar film got over, and again there was commotion in the audience. And now Purushottam Maharaj thinking, now what to do? So then he got some another film of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and put that film. That got up 20 minutes. So till 20 minutes everything was quite cool. Again after the film got over, again people are doing commotion. So he was surprised, what to do now? So Jayapataka Maharaj took the mic and said, now we will show one more Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela film. And Purushottam Maharaj said, Maharaj, we already exhausted all our videos. We don't have any more Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's films. And Jayapataka Maharaj said, show the Hare Krishna world. And Purushottam Maharaj said, Maharaj, this is Hare Krishna world, this is not Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela. And Jayapataka Maharaj, what do you think? Hare Krishna world is not Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela? And then Purushottam Maharaj realized, makes sense. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela did not get over when Mahaprabhu went away. Back to spiritual world. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela is happening even today. ISKCON and all the activities of preaching in ISKCON is part of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela. And Purushottam Maharaj was sharing this realization that when we have beautiful kirtans in ISKCON society during festivals and other events, devotees dance for hours. You see when devotees dance, beautiful kirtans going on. And after dancing for 1 hour or so, then everyone chanting, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. They want more. Who can dance for hours together? So Purushottam Maharaj mentions that in such kirtans, actually there is the presence of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Panchatattva. Otherwise, how can today's generation, who when sits can't get up after a long time, who can't sit down, that generation is dancing for hours together and even asking for more kirtan. Because in that kirtan there is Mahaprabhu's presence. So this is our ISKCON movement. It is part of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela. And Srila Prabhupada has given us his books, this whole society of devotees, this ISKCON society, devotees, everywhere Prabhupada is arranging. It's an oasis. ISKCON is like a Vaikuntha. Prabhupada said all our temples are Vaikuntha. So this is a hub where we all come and take shelter. We are all in the material world. The material world is all about mixture of happiness and distress. One devotee was mentioning that sometimes people paraphrase this material world as sometimes happiness and sometimes distress. But actually it is most of the time distress, sometimes happiness. Or absence of distress. Right? So I don't know whether in Trinidad you have this vegetable called as pumpkin. You have pumpkin here? Too much. That sounded too much pumpkin. Quite big? Okay, so really, so this example will now land properly with you. So one time, one person, he entered into a restaurant. It was a new restaurant. So he saw the new restaurant, let me try out this restaurant. So he went inside, the waiter came and said, yes sir, what do you want? He said, I have eaten so many restaurants, your restaurant is new. What is the best in your restaurant? I want to eat that. So this guy said, we have a very special sabji, not the breadfruit. We have a very special sabji. What is that sabji? That sabji is called as bhopla kismis. Bhopla means pumpkin. And kismis means, you know kismis? Raisins. What do you call it? Dried grapes. Raisins. Excited. Pumpkin kismis. It's a delicacy in your restaurant. So, okay, please bring that. So, pumpkin and kismis. People like to eat kismis, right? Raisins. Sometimes you have some chivda, right? Chipped rice, chips. And then sometimes in between you get one raisin. Enjoy the raisin. So he got the sabji and they also gave him some roti. So he was eating and finally finished the whole sabji. He called the waiter, hey, you said this is pumpkin raisin sabji. But where is the raisin? It's only pumpkin inside. And the waiter said, no, there are raisins also. But where is the raisin? I did not find even one raisin. He said, as much pumpkin, that much raisin. So one pumpkin, one raisin. So material world is first eat one pumpkin and then get one raisin of happiness. Haribo. It's austerity. This is material world. And Srila Prabhupada has given this material world this oasis of Krishna consciousness, association of devotees. This material world, Srila Prabhupada said, it's a davanal, it's a forest fire. It burns, right? Actually it burns. It burns everyone. Apana karama bhunjaye shamana. Right? We are burning because of our own past karmas. And the material world is giving a full-fledged, high flame, what is called kadai, pan. And we are just burning ourselves with our own karmas. Apana karama bhunjaye shamana. Koho hai lochanadas. So, our life is compared to a gulab jamun. How many of you ate gulab jamun? Raise your hands. They are called ISKCON bullets. Now there is one more variety of gulab jamun called as kala jamun. Do you make there in Trinidad here? Kala jamun. It's a little harder. Same variety. Just that instead of soft gulab jamun, it's a little harder. And it's more black in color. Everything is same. Anyways, gulab jamun. What is gulab jamun? Gulab jamun is one white fellow who is first deeply fried to make it black. Right? So a white person who is deeply fried becomes black. Any black thing which we do not take, who will eat that black? But when that black enters in the sugar syrup, its value increases. And it will run after that black thing. Wow, gulab jamun. So we are all conditioned souls in this material world. We are like that white who have become black, being fried out in this material world. And Srila Prabhupada has created a sugar syrup of ISKCON society. Then he brings us and drops it in that. And we stay there. And more we stay, more sweeter we become. More value we get. So ISKCON is like a sugar syrup. Association of devotees is like sugar syrup. And we come here to dip ourselves after getting fried out in this material world. So anyways, I began today with some gulab jamun and now I'll go to halwa now. So Srila Prabhupada was initial days of ISKCON. Prabhu, you may know this devotee, Kartik Prabhu. He is Srila Prabhupada's disciple, Kartik Prabhu. So he remembers, some of his memories I heard this. Kartika Prabhu mentions that he was in the initial days for some time with Srila Prabhupada and he got a chance to serve Srila Prabhupada. But then Prabhupada told him, what are you doing with me? Go and preach. So he had to leave that association of Prabhupada to preach. Someone told him, go to Hawaii. There are some devotees struggling there. Join them, help them. So he traveled to Hawaii and he preached there. After some time, there was some stability in Hawaii temple. So they were giving report to Srila Prabhupada about what's happening in Hawaii temple. So Prabhupada said, I am coming to Hawaii. And they were all excited, these 3-4 devotees, Prabhupada is coming to Hawaii. Kartik Prabhu was there in Hawaii and was thinking, Prabhupada is coming. So I am going to get an opportunity to serve Prabhupada again, cook for him, serve him. And I was thinking, what will Prabhupada require? What should I gather? Things here. And he remembered from his old experience when he was staying with Prabhupada for a few days, one time when Prabhupada felt very cold. It was like the weather was becoming cold, so Prabhupada had called Kartik and said, I am feeling very cold, can you make halwa for me? And Kartik Prabhu had made halwa and given Prabhupada, and Prabhupada ate hot halwa and was very happy. So now Kartik Prabhu remembered, what if Hawaii Prabhupada comes, suddenly temperature drops? What if Prabhupada asks for halwa? I should be ready. So he went around all the stores to find suji. Right? Suji they call it here? Yeah. Semolina. Now he did not get semolina anywhere in Hawaii. No one had heard halwa there, what to speak of suji and semolina. So finally, after really going through all stores, he found something similar to suji. So let me get this. So he got that, he kept in the kitchen, everything was ready. Srila Prabhupada came to Hawaii, he stayed there, he was very happy. Suddenly one day, because of weather, it became cool. So Prabhupada rang his bell. See, Prabhupada, many places Prabhupada did not have those machines, ting. So Prabhupada would keep that DT room bell there. Devotee would run coming. So Kartik Prabhu came when he said, Prabhupada said, today I am feeling very cold. Can you make halwa? And Kartik Prabhu was so happy. That's what he had anticipated. Prabhupada would call for halwa. Yes, Prabhupada, in some few minutes I'll bring hot halwa for you. Prabhupada was very happy. He went in the kitchen, so that something like suji, he got it. And he cooked special, wonderful halwa, full. And then he put in a bowl, went to Prabhupada and kept it on desk. Prabhupada, halwa. Prabhupada said, halwa. And Prabhupada picked up the bowl. And the first thing Prabhupada said, Prabhupada put the spoon down. This is not halwa. And Kartik Prabhu was like feeling, my goodness, Prabhupada wants halwa. And I disappointed Prabhupada. Take this away. This is not halwa, Prabhupada said. Prabhupada was very specific in eating. So he took the halwa back to the kitchen. And then he was like devastated. He was thinking, I'm not able to serve my Guru. He wants halwa. I did not get halwa for him. Started shedding tears. In the kitchen he saw Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj's photo. So something inspired him. He offered full pranam to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur and cried to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, O Param Gurudev, I am not able to serve your disciple, my Guru Maharaj. He wanted halwa, but I am not able to serve him. He was crying in front of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And when he is crying, he hears the bell. Prabhupada is calling on first floor. He wipes his tears, he runs, he enters Prabhupada's room, offers obeisances. Prabhupada says, where is the halwa? Where is the halwa? Prabhupada, the halwa which he said, no, yes, bring it. So again he gets the bowl. Prabhupada eats the full bowl. And Prabhupada asks, can I get more? So brings the next bowl also. And he was thinking, just 5 minutes back, Prabhupada said, is this halwa? And he didn't take the halwa. And now Prabhupada is taking n number of turns, second turn. And he was thinking, what happened in 5 minutes? Then he realized, oh, in that 5 minutes, I offered prayers to Srila Prabhupada's Guru Maharaj. And then his realization is, our parampara has solid connection. You make a prayer here, the prayer immediately goes to the next department, connected. I made a prayer to Srila Prabhupada's spiritual master and Srila Prabhupada got the prayer answered. So this whole Guru Parampara is very strongly connected right from Krishna to his divine grace and whole ISKCON society. So we see Prabhupada has given us a society of devotees and Srila Prabhupada's contribution The whole world is a very, very amazing contribution. No one can imagine of how in just 11 to 12 years Srila Prabhupada traveled and preached all over the world. I meet so many devotees who are now reaching old age, and they tell me, Prabhu, it's so difficult to now even practice Krishna consciousness, get up early in the morning, chant, what to speak of performing some service. And here is, now we can relate to what Srila Prabhupada was at the age of 69, traveling on a cargo ship, right? I don't know if someone gives you a free ticket on cargo ship to go to India today. Will anyone try that? Right? People want to come to India, but what is cargo ship, Hare Krishna. It's good to go on a cruiser ship, but cargo ship. Cargo ship is very difficult. And that is a Prabhupada came in that ship. Prabhupada has come. So everything about Prabhupada is so amazing. The way he preached, the way he traveled 14 times across the globe. This is Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada, I was trying to connect Srila Prabhupada when he went all over the world. The first deity Prabhupada installed was in San Francisco, the Jagannath deity. Right? That was the first deity Prabhupada installed. And that was how mystically Jagannath appeared in San Francisco. Through Bhanti Mataji, she didn't buy, she stole it from the marketplace. Just one small doll, Indian doll, she brought it, and Prabhupada said, Prabhupada offered a business, and Prabhupada said, is there something similar like this? 2 more? And Bhanti Mataji was once in our temple, she was mentioning that I had stolen from that shop. Now, if I had to get 2 more from that shop, how to get it? But she managed to steal the next 2 also. And got those 3 and showed Prabhupada. And Prabhupada says, this is Jagannath. And he called it Shyam Sundar. Oh, you are carpenter, you carve these deities. And there was this Ratha Yatra in San Francisco. Srila Prabhupada also was in lockdown that time. 10 into lockdown. Prabhupada was feeling very sick. So he was in a beach house. So he could not take part in the Ratha Yatra. So Ratha Yatra was over, then devotees bought in the same truck, which was like a big flatbed truck. They jumped on it and they got Jagannath Baldev Subhadra also to that same place. The road, the winding roads on the mountainside, and finally they went to the beach side. Prabhupada was there. So Prabhupada, they bought the Jagannath deities and kept on the piano. And I told Prabhupada, today in Rath Yatra, while we were going up, suddenly the truck stopped. The truck was not moving, it was going behind, and it was very difficult to manage the whole truck. And finally, a lot of chanting and dancing, and finally the truck again strolled up. So Prabhupada said, along with Jagannath pastimes are also coming to the west. And Prabhupada said, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, when he would dance, the Rath would stop. As soon as he would go behind, the Rath would stop. Because Jagannath wanted Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to see ahead. And then Mahaprabhu would then, when Jagannath would not move, then the king would arrange all the elephants to pull the cart, nothing would happen. He would bring the wrestlers to pull the cart. Then Mahaprabhu would tell the king, get all the devotees. And Mahaprabhu would go behind and then push the cart, and the cart would move. So Prabhupada said, along with Jagannath coming to the west, the whole Jagannath pastimes are coming to the west. So today, we will discuss on how Jagannath also gets quarantined every year, 15 days after Snan Yatra. So there is a mystical story behind Lord Jagannath. Lord Jagannath's whole Jagannath Puri is mystical. Right? Even the Britishers were not able to understand who this Jagannath is. They tried their best to stop Jagannath worship, to stop the Rath Yatra. They could not do it. And finally Srila Prabhupada took the Rath Yatra to British. Nelson Column, right? Nelson Square. Trafalgar Square, Nelson Column, right? That is the place where these 3 Raths, they come and stand. Srila Prabhupada brought what Britishers could not do in India. Prabhupada got that in from India to England and had Rath Yatra there. Prabhupada was like, this is a famous story. Prabhupada came to London And one reporter asked at the airport, Swamiji, why have you come from India? Could be a challenging question. Prabhupada said, you Britishers came to India and stole so many things. You forgot one thing. Prabhupada wrote the Bhagavad Gita. I have come to give you this. The biggest treasure. You stole all the diamonds and jewels. Now this is the biggest treasure. Book, Bhagavad Gita. So Jagannath ji, when Jagannath appeared to King Indradumna Maharaj, it was not Jagannath who had dictated to Indradumna Maharaj that the day when I was cowed and I was ready, that is the day of my appearance. You celebrate that day every year with a Snan Yatra. And Jagannath had told that the compound of temple is there on this particular side, you dig a well, you dig something, there is a well there. And there is auspicious water from all auspicious holy places in the whole world, all the waters are there. Once a year you bring me out and you bathe me with those waters. So these are the original festivals. The Snan Yatra and the Rath Yatra are the original two festivals which Jagannath himself told Indradumna Maharaj. And as Jagannath worship continued, more festivals kept adding because of Jagannath's connection with specific devotees. Even today also the additions keep coming up, New festivals keep adding up because Jagannath even today manifests beautiful pastimes. Like we know that how Jagannath ji has a beautiful kitchen, right? In that kitchen they cook in a mystical way. There are 5 pots and there is firewood and all the pots get cooked simultaneously without much of human intervention. So there are some pandas, pujaris who are cooking. So just 200 years back there was one pujari panda who was cooking. And one day he got some inspiration, why not I cook one more item for Lord Jagannath apart from his so many bhogas. He decided to try a laddu. So he made a laddu from jaggery. Now making laddu is difficult. Making laddu from sugar is difficult. But making laddu from jaggery is much more difficult because if you do not know how to make, you will mess the whole laddu. Now he was trying for the first time. We all know when you try for the first time, what happens? Either it goes number 1 or it flops. Anyways, he tried this. I don't know what inspired him. He tried, he made a big laddu of jaggery. Now in making a jaggery laddu, you need to know what is the exact jaggery which you use. Because there are different types of jaggery. There are some jaggery which are so common, if you do not know how to use that, laddu can become a stone after a few minutes. It looks very soft. As it grows 1 hour, 2 hours, it becomes very hard. This was one of the laddus which he made, which initially was very soft. As it went on the altar, it became like a hard stone. He did not know. So he had sent for the offering. Now in Jagannath temple, altar is here. This is the Darshan Mandap. And the next room is called as Bhoga Mandap. Whole room full of Bhoga offerings. All in big earthen pots. 25 pots of only rice. 22 pots of only dal. And 23 pots of this sabji, 24 pots of that sabji, so many sabjis. And the whole Bhoga room is full. When time comes, they clear this Darshan Mandap, they take all the devotees to go away. There is no one here. They open the doors of that Mandap and that door is open. Jagannath glances from this room to that room and honors all the Bhoga offerings. This is every day in Jagannath Puri. So that day that laddu also was there in that offering. Now on that particular day, the king of Puri came to take darshan during the Rajbhog Aarti when the offering was happening. So actually after the offering got over, then the Aarti was performed and they garlanded the king. The king was very happy. He was about to leave and devotee said, Maharaj, you have come during Rajbhog Aarti. Please take some prasadam. And the king said, well, I am very busy now, I have to go for an important meeting with the ministers, I don't have time to eat, so I'm going to take my lunch with the ministers, so I cannot wait here. So Maharaj, please take something. So said, okay, I'll take little. So he was taken to the Bhogamanda. Maharaj, whatever you want, please take. So his eye fell on that laddu. Please use that, that's enough. So he brings the laddu home. The queen serves the prasadam to the king is sitting with ministers, there's a meeting going on, something important, and the king is eating. Now king sees the laddu, oh, something, normally whenever we have a special item, we always keep in the end, right? And if we do not know what it is, it can be a surprise sometimes. Many times I have seen we keep something in the end, only to realize, Hare Krishna, I should have eaten it first only. One time someone served me a white item which was very round. I thought it's a sweet. Only to realize it was a sour item in the end. I realized I should have eaten first and checked. But anyways, so he kept the laddu in the land. And then he ate all the prasad and I was in a meeting. And while talking with everyone, he just picked up the laddu and he bit the laddu. Now that laddu was really like a stone. So the king, that morning, he had some denture issue. His teeth was little moving. With that teeth, he bit the laddu. And he was wearing, when he removed, the laddu came out, the teeth was inside there, and his teeth had gone. And the ministers saw this and they wanted to laugh, but who will laugh? So they were surprised. And the king felt very insulted. Who made this laddu? The news of king's teeth broke because of laddu went viral. Right? If our teeth broke, who is going to report it? King's teeth has broke, so everywhere went. King ate a laddu, his teeth broke. Now, the king ordered that whoever has cooked this laddu should be thrown in, not locked down, lock up. Well, this guy, the pujari, he was thinking, where is that laddu? I want to taste the Mahaprasad. And sometimes devotees cook, they would like to know how the prasad is. He was searching for the Mahaprasad laddu, he did not find. Happens sometimes, pujari cooks very nice prasadam, some special item. And just as it comes out, it is gone, disappears. You have good experience, right? One time one lady came to our temple with her grown-up girl, child, daughter. And she came to meet the temple president. She said, Prabhu, I am surprised. Your temple is so nice. So the president said, what happened? Oh, I came to temple and I had a lot of money in my purse. I forgot my purse in the temple hall. I went to home. Then I realized my purse is. I came back after 1 hour. The purse was there only as it is. No one touched the purse. Amazing. Your temple is really amazing. So the president said, yes, our devotees are very honest. Our devotees, para dravya rostravat. When they see something which is not belonging to them, they consider as uchi. It's like pebbles and stone for them. She also said very philosophy, So the Mataji was very happy. She went back home. After 3 days, she again came to the president. And he said, and president, what happened? Something more lost? No. I'm a little amazed and I want to ask you, today I purchased a Maha cake from the shop, from the gift shop in your temple. And I was carrying the Maha cake. I wanted to just wash my hands. I kept the cake on a table. I went to wash my hands. I came back and saw the cake was missing. So I didn't understand, Prabhu, how can this happen? The purse which had so much of money was untouched, and in 2 minutes the cake disappeared. So the president was now in what to say. The president said devotees now have higher taste. And Prabhupada would say, this is the only sense gratification devotees have. Let them eat prasad. Prabhupada went to one temple where the devotees had a very strange diet. They had cut off all the sugar from the temple. No sugar. Even deities were not getting sugar. So Prabhupada came to know all this. So Prabhupada, when the plate prasadam came, Prabhupada said, where is the sugar? Which sugar, Prabhupada? I want to eat puri, luchi chini sarpuri. What is that, Prabhupada? Luchi means puri. Luchi means sugar. And puri means puri. Get puri, sugar and ghee. Surprise, Prabhupada. Ghee, sugar and puri. Make it now. So they made one full bowl of sugar, full bowl of ghee and puri. And Prabhupada dipped in the ghee, took sugar and said, Luchi chini sar puri ladu rasabali. Prabhupada eat it. So Prabhupada was teaching all of us, all the devotees, that this is good for your life, but why change the whole Sharan temple? Prasadam is for devotees. They are given up so much. This is only sense gratification. Anyways, so this Narsingha Laddu, we come back to Narsingha Laddu now. We took a detour. So now, this guy, this devotee, Pujari, he was looking, where is the Laddu? And suddenly the people from the palace, the guards come and take him to lock off. And he was thinking, why am I locked up? He said, hey, you cooked some laddu. The king ate the laddu and he broke his teeth. And he was thinking, I didn't cook for the king. I cooked for Lord Jagannath. Why am I locked up? So he was very devastated. He was whole night crying intensely about Lord Jagannath. I am always committing so much aparat to you. Please forgive me. But Lord Jagannath also was thinking, my poor Pujari who is cooking every day for me, today he got caught up in this. So Jagannath appeared in dream to the king and woke him up. Hey king, get up. King was surprised. Lord Jagannath is there. He said, what have you done to my devotee? What have you done to your devotee? So you put my devotee in lockup. No, Jagannathji, I didn't put any devotee in lockup. You did put my devotee in lockup. That devotee who cooked the laddu. Oh, laddu. Jagannath, that laddu was a stone laddu. And Jagannath said, that may be stone for you. I relish that laddu. He cooked for me, not you. So tomorrow morning, when you wake up, go with a palanquin. Put him in the palanquin. Take him all around Jagannath Puri shouting his name, Jai. The king was thinking, my goodness, Jagannath is really serious about it. So anyways, Jagannath, okay, I'll do that, oh Lord, if you want. But I want to ask you a question, my dear Lord. How can you eat this laddu which is like a stone? Lord Jagannath said, I knew that laddu has become a stone. So when it came for offering, I changed my avatar. I took the incarnation of Narsingadev. As Narsingadev, I have very strong teeth. And with that strong teeth, I ate the laddu. And then he told the king, from today onwards, make this stone laddu every day and offer me in the bhoga. And call this laddu as Narsimha Laddu. So even today in Jagannath Puri, one of the offerings, there is Narsimha Laddu, exact like big laddu, like a very stone laddu. So after the laddu is offered, all the bhoga which becomes prasad comes to which place? Anand Bazar, right? That's the prasadam area in Jagannath Puri called as Anand Bazar. So now who eat that laddu? So those who are selling those prasadam there, they get that laddu and take a hammer and powder that laddu. And that laddu is served as powder, as prasad to everyone. So this is the mystical pastime of Lord Jagannath. He interacts amazing way with his devotees. And this Jagannath temple and Jagannath Puri is so mystical, we do not know how Jagannath functions here. One of our devotees in our ashram in Chopati, he was entering Jagannath Puri temple. Now Jagannath Puri temple, they have this strange custom, they don't allow foreigners. Now this devotee was Indian, but he looked like a foreigner because he was from Kashmir. So his whole body was very whitish. So as he was entering, the Pandit stopped, "Hey, you can't go inside. This is not for foreigners." So he said in Hindi, "Arey, I am from India," and spoke in Hindi language. So they said, "ISKCON people, foreigners also speak Hindi, so you must be foreigner." So he became a little angry and he said, "Are you mad? Don't you see I speak Indian dialect?" Pagal ho gaya kya? So some Hindi words he used, pagal ho gaya kya? So one Pandit said, "Hey, foreigners can speak Hindi, but foreigners can't give gali in Hindi. He is giving abuses in Hindi, so he must be bona fide Indian. Let him go." So they allowed him to go. So he went inside to darshan. Next day again when he was going to temple, again they stopped him. "Why you are stopping me? Yesterday also you stopped me." So one Pandit said, "No, nowadays we know foreigners also are expert in giving abuses in Hindi language. So you must be a foreigner." She said, "Arey, what is happening?" So one person said, "We want to test you now, whether you are Indian or a foreigner." So they caught hold of his collar, took him inside a temple, took him to Anand Bazaar where the prasadam is there, and bought a full plate of prasadam. This is real story. Huh? He said, "Eat prasadam." I said, "Wow, why not?" Whole prasad plate was there. He started eating, very happy. And he ate the prasad, and they all said, "Now you are Indian." You know why? Because the way you are eating and the way you are sitting is Indian style, so you are not foreigner. So he was mentioning that, Jagannath is mystical. Looks like a punishment, he ends up eating prasadam of Jagannath. The way Jagannath temple is, it's all mysterious. The story of Jagannath is mysterious, the appearance of Jagannath is mysterious. Everything about him is mysterious. So Jagannath ji, when he conducts a pastime, there are multifaceted different versions of the same pastime. Snan Yatra, Lord Jagannath's birthday. So Lord Jagannath comes up on a very big dais, everyone can watch him from outside, and the well is there, they remove water from the well and they offer Abhishek of Lord Jagannath. Now Lord Jagannath, why he sits on top? Why there is beautiful open place? So Jagannath had told Indradyumna Maharaj, on Snan Yatra, you humans will bathe me, but the demigods will also come and bathe me. So keep a big platform, because you may not see them, but they will also assemble along with you, and they will perform my Abhishek. So that's why that whole platform is open, and on a high platform. Now another version which is mentioned, I was reading the beautiful Krishna Kathamrit Bindu magazine of Norwood Maharaj disciple Madhvanand Prabhu. He mentions very beautifully, there are many internal reasons and external reasons for Lord's pastimes. So Lord Jagannath, he comes on a dais to give his darshan, but from his sidelong glance he is watching at Gundicha temple. Oh, because that's Vrindavan. And he's thinking of the gopis of Vrindavan, Radharani. And that's when he starts making a plan. I need to go there. I need to spend time with Srimati Radharani and gopis. But how to go there? Here Lakshmi Devi is there. If I go like this, she will be very angry now. So Jagannath is planning while doing a Snan Yatra. And then he gets a plan. Wow. And he decides that if I give sufficient time to Lakshmi, spend more time with her, then she may allow me for a leave. They call it casual leave or paid leave, whatever it is. So he decides after Snan Yatra, he will go incognito. Because he is Jagannath, he is the Lord of the universe. So throughout the day, devotees come to meet him, whole day. In the night time, darshan closes, but then the demigods come and meet Lord. Even today, the pujaris mentioned that in the night they offer Jagannath special flower dress, Bada Shingar Vesh, beautiful flowers, because the demigods come to worship Lord Jagannath. In the morning they see flowers scattered here and there are lamps lying here and there. Door is closed, demigods come. And there are evidences of devotees of Pandas have seen, like around 150 years back, one Panda saw a very huge personality walking in the temple, very huge. And he became very afraid. Then that person turned around, why you are afraid? I am Vibhishan, I come every day here. So he had come from Lanka, Vibhishan. And Apsaras come, and so many people come. There are so many evidences they write in the books there. Anyways, so Lord Jagannath is thinking, whole day I am with my devotees. Seldom I had spent time with my wife Lakshmi. So now for next 15 days I will spend time with her, and the pretext will be sickness. Darshan is closed, very intimate time with Lakshmi, so she is happy, and I will make or cook special items for me, which is in today's modern world called as medicine for Jagannath. So Jagannath eats all that, makes Lakshmi happy, and Hare Krishna. Please, thank you. Thank you for the mercy. This is from Lakshmi or Jagannath? Oh, okay. I thought Lakshmi Devi has said. So, Jagannath spent 15 days with Lakshmi. And then Jagannath says, well, 15 days I spent time with you, my devotees are desperately waiting outside. Can I just take a stroll and come back? This small thing. So Lakshmi says, okay, go, no problem. Then the Lord comes out for Ratha Yatra, goes to Gundicha, and without taking permission stays there for 7-8 days. So Lakshmi is a little worried. What is this? My husband went for a ride, now did not come back, and now heard that gopis are there, Radharani is there. So then she sends this Hera Panchami, the festival is there, where Lakshmi comes with all her associates, and they start beating the pandas. And then the next day then Jagannath has to come back. Right? The whole pastime happens there. So, and the pastime continues. Lord Jagannath then comes back. It's called the Ulta Rath, return Rath. And when Lord Jagannath enters the Jagannath Puri temple again, Subhadra, Balaram, Sudarshan get the entry. But as soon as Jagannath is about to enter, Lakshmi stands at the gate, does not allow Jagannath to go. Why you went for so long? And there's a pastime, the Lord Jagannath, he himself cooked, the original pastime that happened, a Rasagulla. Not Rasgulla? Yeah. So they say Rasgulla has been actually originally, the origin of Rasgulla is from Jagannath temple, but Jagannath himself cooked Rasgulla. And he came to Lakshmi Devi and popped the Rasgulla in her mouth. And Rasgulla she ate and she was very happy. And then she allowed Jagannath to come inside him. So this is Lord Jagannath's mystical stories of how 15 days of lockdown just so that he could go to Braj. He go to Vrindavan and spend time there. So Jagannath, when Jagannath undergoes the Snan Yatra, the whole natural colors of Jagannath, they fade away, right? So Lord Jagannath wears a beautiful costume called as Gajavesh, elephant vesh. Lord Jagannath and Balramji have a trunk, and Subhadra Devi has a flower around her face. Because with the trunk and all, then Jagannath's half the face gets covered up with the costume. Because Jagannath's paint has all gone. Jagannath thinks, oh, my devotees will not able to see me in this style. Because of water flowing on the body, because of the Abhishek, all the colors fade away. So he wears that Gajavesh. So there's a story behind that also, how that Gajavesh came. So there was one, some say South Indian fellow, some said Maharashtrian fellow, whatever it may be. His name was Ganapati Bhatta. He was a great devotee of Ganesh. He happened to come to Puri to meet the king of Puri. So the king of Puri told him, you came at the right time. Today is Snan Yatra. Let's go and take darshan of Jagannath. He said, no, I don't take darshan of anyone else. I am a devotee of Ganesh. So king persuaded, you come, This is Jagannath, the Lord of whole universe. Everyone is his devotee, including Ganesh. So no, I only worship Ganesh. So the king said, you just come. I promise you, you will find Ganesh in Jagannath. The king said that. She was surprised, how come? And he came and Jagannath manifested the form of Gajavesh just to pull his faith towards him. There are hundreds of pastimes where people were devotees of a particular Devi or a Devata and Lord pulled them to their devotion. Why? Because they were doing pakka upasana of that demigod and they had no material desire. So when you have no material desires, you are worshipping a Devi or Devata, then that Devi and Devata will take you to their Lord, that is Krishna. So here was pastime of how this Ganapati Bhatta became a devotee of Lord and then this pastime continued every year. This Gajavesh happens after Snanyatra. Here also you have Snanyatra, right?
Yes.
This Sunday they told me South Temple has Snanyatra. So they have Gajavesh also there?
Yes.
They do?
Yes, they do.
Great. So this is 15 days of quarantine, but once in 12 or 13 years, there is a very tight lockdown. That's called as Navakalevara. That's the time when Jagannath changes his own body and takes up a new body. Navaka, it's a very mystical thing. How it happens, it's like all mystical. Jagannath prompts where to go, where to find. Everything is even now also as per Jagannath's plan. So, this happens once in 12 or 13 years. This has to do with this Purushottam Mas coming in particular time. The Purushottam Mas month of Purushottam comes every 3 to 4 years, whatever. But when that Purushottam Mas comes in one particular Vedic month, then that is the time they have this Navakalevara. So it happens 12, 13 years, 14 years once in a while. So what is the story? The story is that Jagannath Pandas, Balaram Pandas, Subhadra Pandas and Sudarshan Pandas, they go in a troop. First Jagannath, Balaram, Subhadra, Sudarshan. They go different times and they have to all go around 50 kilometers towards Konark temple. There is one Devi temple and her name is Bhat Mangala. Mangala Devi and Bhat means path. Why do they go there? Because it is this Devi who will prompt them where to find the Daru Brahma, the tree where you can carve Jagannath from. So they all go there and they have separate rooms where they sleep, the pujaris. And they do not know when the indication will come. They have to just stay there every day. Morning get up, worship Jagannath, they have their own deities and worship Bhat Mangala, this Devi. This time, last time when it happened, after 1 month, Bhat Mangala revealed to them. What happens? One particular day, each of them, Pujari will come different turns and they are waving. So while waving, the deity of Bhat Mangala, she is wearing a garland and garland falls. Doesn't happen every day, any one single day, any time. That day the Pujari comes to know, today in the evening I will get a dream while sleeping. This Mangala will come and tell me where is the tree, where I should go, in which direction, which village, and then I will find the tree. So she comes in the night in a dream of that Pujari and tells, you have to go this way. So they all go. So all these different trees are in different directions, not in the same village. And what is the tree? The tree is that tree where there is no nest on the tree, there is no bird sitting on the tree. That tree should have, if you go and closely watch, they should have a Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma marks on the tree, and there should be a cobra, snake under a tree who is guarding that tree. And they go to that place, then they first take a golden small axe and touch it. Tanzanian tree, then silver, and like that. And they start cutting the tree and they bring the whole, it's a big procession, bring it back to Jagannath Puri. So the whole deity is cowed and the deity gets a new form. Now the pastime is not over. Now the pastime starts. This Bhat Mangala is considered as Jagannath's mother because she has prompted where you will find my Jagannath. So she is constantly worried. My son has now gone to Puri and is there. Is he properly taken care of or not? Are they serving him nicely or not? So just to make her happy, contented, it's like mother, every mother is wondering when the child goes very far away. She calls, the first thing she calls, are you eating enough? So Bhat Mangala is also thinking, is my child eating enough? Jagannath. It is this Bhat Mangala, she represents Yashoda Mata. So is my child eating enough? So they have a custom even today on the day of Ekadashi. They get all the bhoga which is there in front of Jagannath. They take huge pots, travel all the way in bullock cart to this place, and they keep all that items in front of Bhat Mangala and she sees. These are the items which is served to my son. That too on Ekadashi day. That means other days also will be good. So day of fasting, Lord Jagannath is getting all this. That means he is well fed. In this every Ekadashi, this whole Leela takes place even now also. So these are amazing mystical pastimes of Lord Jagannath. I'll tell one story of another lockdown in Jagannath temple and then we will close. So Lord Jagannath's wife is Lakshmi Mata, and they said Lakshmi is the daughter of ocean god. So ocean god sometimes would take the liberty of flooding Jagannath Puri because he is who? The father-in-law of Lord Jagannath. Who will stop me? So he would come a little extra inside, and that would create a lot of problem in Jagannath Puri. So every moment and complain to Lord Jagannath, oh Lord Jagannath, please help. Your father-in-law is coming inside and entering Puri, do something. So Lord Jagannath told Lakshmi, go and tell your father, don't disturb my devotees. So she went and told, don't do. Jagannath is very unhappy. Okay, I will not do. But then he will again break his barrier and come inside. So Jagannath ji became tired. How can I go and directly tell my father-in-law? So Jagannath told all the devotees, go to Ayodhya, bring Hanuman. And tell Hanuman to stand near the ocean. Seeing Hanuman, ocean will not dare to come beyond its limits. So Hanuman was God. So Hanuman came and he was sitting near the ocean in a service mode. But problem was they brought Hanuman, but they forgot to take care of Hanuman. They invited Hanuman, but they did not check whether he is getting good prasad to eat or not. And Hanuman was literally fasting. Because in Ayodhya he was getting good prasad. And here in Jagannath Puri, no one was even taking care of him because everyone was busy with Jagannath prasad. No one was looking at his prasad. So what to do? So then one day he thought, now everything is in control, ocean is not there, the ocean is in limits. So without informing anyone in one night, Hanuman just vanished to take a break, go to Ayodhya, eat some nice prasad and come back. So he went in the night to Ayodhya, the ocean saw the opportunity and flooded Jagannath Puri again. And everyone thinking, hey, how can that be flood for so many days there was no flood, Hanumanji was there, where is Hanumanji? And they come and see Hanumanji is not there. So all go to Jagannath, what happened? Hanumanji is not there now. So Jagannath says, why he is not there? What is the reason? So Hanumanji reports, I'm sorry, I was feeling very hungry, there is no prasad here. So Lord Jagannath chastised everyone. Why is this? You put Hanumanji there, don't feed him properly. So today, every day, whatever laddus are, this is also laddu, but not the stone laddu. Good laddus. So all these laddus should go to Hanumanji every single day. So Hanumanji said, I am very happy. So huge laddus, literally big laddus to the size of a huge plate goes to Hanumanji for feeding him. And the devotee said, but we are not sure, what if we offer laddu and still Hanumanji goes away? So Jagannath said, what to do? So we should tie this Hanumanji here. So they put shackles to Hanumanji. And because shackles are called in Hindi as Bedi, so that is called Bedi Hanuman. Even today the deity is near the ocean. beautiful temple where Hanuman is sitting with shackles around his. So Hanuman is also quarantined or locked down. He can't move away from Jagannath Puri. But he is happy because every day he gets his laddu. So when you see the deity has a huge smile. And the pujaris are so expert, they put laddu in that smile like this. So all laddus are there in the smile. His full mouth is full of laddus. Hanuman is very happy that I am getting my laddus. There are so many things to discuss. Hare Krishna. So we'll end here. Thank you for